Let's give our attention to Brother Clarence Smith as he reads the obituary.
Charles Ralph Brown was born July 7th, 1936 to Shiv Brown Sr. and Annie Ruth Hill Brown in Hawkinsville, Georgia as the first of four sons. He passed away February 26, 2019 quietly, surrounded by family. Charles was a devoted and loving husband, father, father-in-law, grandfather, brother, uncle, and friend who will be dearly missed by many. In high school, Charles was an honor roll student and was brilliant in math. He also ran track in school and was given the name of Leaping Charlie. He spent time helping younger brothers prepare their talks on the ministry school. He helped one of his brothers to prepare his first talk back in 1947 when his brother was 8 and Charles was just 11 years old. His mother insisted that he help his little brothers. Charles worked at Atlanta Area Tech as department chairman of the electronics program, where he taught electronic and computer science until the turn of the century when he retired. Although he loved everything electronic, his main mission in life was to educate and teach others about Jehovah God in the hope that they too would come to know Jehovah. Charles began his career as a servant of Jehovah when he was baptized as one of Jehovah's Witnesses on October 18, 1946. He loved talking and teaching others about Jehovah so much that during his lifetime he served as an elder, circuit overseer, regular pioneer, and special pioneer. He had a wealth of knowledge that he shared with everyone he spoke with. He had a kind and loving nature. Charles would visit and take care of those ailing, whether it was physically or spiritually, even when he was ill himself. Even in his last days, he would witness to all of the medical staff he came in contact with in the hope that they too would come to know and love his God and Father Jehovah. He was faithful in this commission until the very end. Charles leaves behind to cherish his memory his wife of 6 years, Ann McGuire Brown, son David Clavunda Brown, stepsons Jason, Andrea Hayward, Michael Hayward, and stepdaughter Desiree Smith Hayward, grandsons Jaden Yachman and Tristan and Tarika Fuller, and granddaughters London Hayward and Brooklyn Hayward, great-granddaughter Allie Natasha Fuller, brothers Samuel Muriel Brown, Leora Marie Brown, Shiv Brown Jr., sister-in-law Sandra Sims Brown, nieces and nephews Suzette Brown Glass, Rochelle Brown Boyd, Rochelle Brown Boyd Corey, Shiv Ben Brown Shallon, Aaron Brown Angel, Jessica Brown, and a host of other great and great-grand nieces and nephews, family, friends, and spiritual brothers and sisters. Charles married Betty Tillman in 1960, and they produced their pride and joy and only child, David Paul Brown. In November 2012, he married Ann McGuire. From their blended families, he gained 2 additional sons, Jason and Michael, and a daughter, Desiree. He was preceded in death by his parents, Shiv Brown Sr. and Annie Ruth Brown, as well as his first wife, Betty, and second wife, Diana Campbell.
Thank you, Brother Smith. Now we invite you to listen carefully as Brother George Washington of Macon, Georgia, gives the memorial discourse. Brother Washington.
All of us today have saddened hearts, but we do not have a morbid feeling of fear of death because we are a house of Christians. There are two things that we're going to discuss, two areas that we're going to discuss of comfort so that all of us will be able to share with one another what we need at a time like this. Many persons make this statement, he died of a natural death, and that's not correct. Death is unnatural, and that is why you feel the way you do when you lose a loved one. But the truth of the matter is that you can receive comfort and you can comfort anyone who loses a loved one. Let's take first of all the emotional hurt. Batting your eye is a natural reaction. You don't tell anyone how to do it. The same thing is true with tears, laughter, euphoria, solemnness. So when we lose a loved one of the first reactions is to display that emotional hurt. Now, what can you do about it? What can I do about it? If you remember Jacob, when he thought his son was dead, he wept profusely. In John chapter 11, when Jesus came to visit Lazarus, who had died of 4 days and was buried, embalmed and buried, in order to console the tears of the families that was with him, Jesus told Mary and Martha that he was the resurrection and the life. And although they knew that, verse 34, John chapter 11, verse 35 says that Mary was crying and Martha was crying and all of the Jews was crying, and then Jesus groaned within himself, verse 35 said, and he cried. Now the reason Jesus cried was not the same reason as Mary and Martha cried. Mary and Martha shed tears because they were emotionally disturbed. They were hurt. Jesus had perfect emotions. He had perfect control of his emotions. He had no need to cry. But the reason Jesus wept is because he had empathy for Mary and Martha, which means what? That Jesus felt the same thing that they felt by his watching them. So that's what we do. So emotionally, you've come here today. That's a good thing, because the family is glad to see you. Or you talk with them, and that too is a good thing, because they need your friendship. But emotions have to be treated in this way. When a baby cries, what do you do to comfort the baby? Well, you try to find out what's wrong with him. If the baby is frightened, the mother can pick it up and it'll stop crying. If the baby is hungry, the father can feed it and the baby will stop crying. If he needs sleep, you can put it to bed. So, for the Brown family today and us, what we'll do is